Union strong? Union strong? Union greetings, APWU family. Welcome delegates to the 27th Biennial Convention, our grand union meeting under our theme, Energize, Organize, Mobilize. And welcome to Detroit, our proud union town, built by generations of militant and fearless workers. That's the spirit of Detroit. And I salute all of you frontline fighters. Be proud of your passionate work for safer workplaces, better staffing and service, defending co-workers against injustice, organizing the unorganized, enforcing the contract, and standing in solidarity with all workers. Without activists like you, there would not be an American Postal Workers Union. Look all around you. What do you see? A rainbow of delegates from all walks of life, united in our common struggle for justice. Give yourselves and each other a rousing round of applause for everything you do in this struggle. I'm very honored to come before you to share the State of our Union message. But first, some observations about our times, for we are not an island unto ourselves. Our times are both dangerous and promising. On the one hand, there's a rising bigotry, a torrent of white supremacist race hatred, deepening attacks on workers' rights, on women's rights, on civil rights, and on democratic rights. There are coordinated voter suppression tactics, largely directed at undermining vote by mail, being pushed behind the big lie that the 2020 election was stolen. There is a reactionary and deeply corrupt Supreme Court with decisions like the outrageous recent ruling that places a president above the law. We face a profit-driven climate crisis that is actually threatening life on Earth. Our tax dollars and weapons are shamefully being used to unleash war crimes against the innocent men, women, and children of Gaza. The current threat of fascist dictatorship, and with it, the crushing of the labor movement, is very real, as witnessed by the despicable coup attempt of January 6th. The Heritage Foundation, and Sister Schuler talked about this, is promoting Project 2025, which is literally a blueprint for dictatorship if Trump is elected. Corporate power continues to and consistently tilts the scales to favor billionaires. The three wealthiest U.S. individuals, shockingly, have a combined wealth exceeding that of the bottom half of the population, some 160 million people. A bloated military-industrial complex enriches Wall Street and national defense corporations at the expense of people's needs. But while we have much work ahead of us, workers are also on the march, drawing lessons from the pandemic and life experience, that it is we, the workers, versus the bosses. It is Wall Street versus Main Street, and we're Main Street. And it's labor versus capital, and we are labor. Support for unions is at its highest point in decades, and highest among young workers. We have witnessed significant union organizing successes. And many workers, delivery, auto, warehouse, hotel, railroad, retail, grocery, healthcare, and education workers are ready and willing to withhold their labor to get what they deserve as workers who create all the wealth that we see. These struggles remind us of the 1970 historic and militant postal strike. Those who came before us engaged in an unlawful victorious strike and won a much better life for themselves, their families, and those postal workers who have followed. Are there any strikers in the room? If there are, please stand up. How about a standing ovation? So how are we doing in these times full of challenges but also opportunity? I would submit to you that our APW is indeed union strong all day long. Since our last convention, postal workers have benefited from the implementation of a strong union contract, ratified with a 94% vote in early 2022. With our strong COLAs, we have weathered this period of high inflation, aptly called greedflation, as corporate profits soar while life is harder and harder on working people. As we just saw in the video, in addition to our regular wage and step increases, COLA gains under our current contract amount to a phenomenal $5,325 a year for full-time career workers and $2.67 an hour more for PTFs. And our hardworking PSEs, once converted to career, will pick up those COLA increases in the career pay scale. With the great advance of our last contract, automatic career conversions after 2 years, for most PSEs, we have secured the conversion of over 25,000 PSEs since our last convention, listen to this, added to the stunning total of 131,000 Union One conversions since 2014. I'll submit to you, union strong, union strong. With the current contract due to expire on September 20th, we just opened negotiations for a new Maine collective bargaining agreement, covering the wages, hours, and working conditions of approximately 200,000 postal workers. And this is the largest union negotiations in the country this year. Negotiations are never easy, never have been, and never will be. Two sides enter the battlefield with different priorities and perspectives. I am once again deeply honored to be your lead negotiator and working with a strong negotiating committee. Industrial Relations Director and Chief Spokesperson Charlie Cash has been skillfully leading the preparations, including meetings with economists, attorneys, union staff, and of course the negotiating committee. We have reviewed resolutions from previous conventions, as well as the recent contract survey that our members filled out. Our rank and file bargaining advisory committee has been appointed and has met. And I'm sure you agree with our general goals. Protect the many gains of the past, including our incredible career no layoff protection, the 50-mile limit on accessing, and our full COLAs, and much more. And then enhance on our solid foundation to include good annual wage increases, continuing to bridge the gaps between the divisive two-tier, multiple-tier wage systems established in the 2010 concessionary contract, and striving for an all-career workforce, and of course, much, much more. Building maximum power and leverage is a key to our success in negotiations. As we proclaim, good contract now, union proud, say it loud, let's hear it. Good contract now. Union proud, say it loud. Our inspiring kickoff rally that you saw in the video with labor and community allies underscores we are not alone. Our Building Union Power organizing campaign under the solid guidance of organizing director Anna Smith and your hard work yielded over 8,700 new members as we open negotiations. A powerful message to management. Congratulations, Union Strong. Winning the best contract possible is vital for postal workers. And I urge all of us here in convention to keep our eye on the prize and ensure this convention does not take any actions that unnecessarily puts our COLA, our job security at risk, or undermine the ability of your leadership and your negotiating team to achieve a voluntary, good, fair, strong new contract. There's no doubt, as we're gathered here, that we are being challenged by the double-edged sword of management's network modernization plan. That's in quotes. As union leaders, we should never replace facts with wishful thinking. As such, we must recognize that the male mix has profoundly and permanently changed due to the rapid advance of a computerized, internet-based revolution. Online bill paying, email, DocuSign, text messages, Facebook, TikTok, and everything else, online advertising have resulted in a deep reduction of letter and flat volume. Last year, first-class letter mail, the main revenue driver of the USPS, fell to 46 billion pieces from a peak of 103 billion in 2001. But due to e-commerce, packages are rising, representing the main opportunity for more revenue, more job protection, and more growth. So we recognize that changes in technology and mail will result in changes, quite likely in machinery, sometimes buildings, transportation, and jobs, just as in the past with the elimination, let's say, of the LSM machines. But there are clearly parts of the modernization plan that the APWU absolutely opposes. The moving of locally generated mail destined for the local service area to be processed hundreds of miles away, and eliminating afternoon truck runs and pickups to bring the mail back to the mail processing plants, both result in delays in the mail. Management's incompetence in the implementation of the plan has been outrageous, causing severe delays and breaking the bond with the people of the country. Poor service becomes fuel for those who want to and aim to privatize our wonderful postal service. The service to the people must be fixed. The plan must be slowed down, and some of the management decisions reversed. PMG DeJoy may have inherited a dysfunctional and declining postal service, but he is now the captain of the ship and has been for 4 years, and the problems are his to fix. APW activists like you have done a commendable job sounding the alarms, demanding that no matter who we are or where we live, the people deserve first-class service. Union strong? We continue to press management, the Office of Inspector General, the Postal Board of Governors, and congressional representatives as we advocate for improved service and a moratorium on the network changes. Through it all, we will stick to the issues, support what we support, and fight what we oppose. But simply maintaining the status quo and refusing to change with the times places our jobs and our future at risk. Over many decades, postal workers have faced a hostile management culture that has proven difficult to fix. In 2023, we moved the issue of the toxic work environment front and center. We will continue to do so in negotiations and in the streets. It is long overdue that abusive managers are held accountable by upper management. Do you agree? You bet. We also connected with the public, as short staffing negatively affects service and creates a more stressful workplace. We have launched our Better Staffing, Better Service campaign that so many of you have been involved with. Much of our future depends on enhanced and expanded services, and we welcome the new opportunities of the 2022 Postal Service Reform Act, which allows the USPS to perform non-postal services for local, state, and tribal government agencies. And what better ambassadors than us postal workers, to identify new opportunities, such as fishing and hunting licenses, notary services, internet access, EV charging stations, metro passes, car registration and licensing, and basic financial services leading to postal banking. In the legislative arena, the APW works both to stop bad legislation and promote positive legislation that helps all postal and all workers. And under the leadership of Legislative and Political Director Judy Beard, we have accomplished more than in many previous decades, including $10 billion in COVID relief funds, emergency federal employee leave, monies for the important EV transition, and the historic Postal Service Reform Act, which eliminated the draconian pre-funding mandate of future retiree health costs that was literally strangling the Postal Service. We have helped to build strong bipartisan support in both the House and Senate to correct the unfair bipartisan 1984 legislation that drastically reduced and punished civil service retirees out of their earned Social Security benefits. We owe it to those who came before us to right this wrong. And you're all in that fight. In addition, we are deeply involved in promoting legislation that would allow former PSEs, once converted to career, to buy back their time for retirement purposes. While the APWU is on record recognizing the limitations for working people of the two-party, corporate-dominated political system, we remain committed, and the we is all of us, to electing pro-worker candidates who support us and support a strong public postal service. With an election this fall, we must weigh the ramifications of the dangerous march toward dictatorship and what it would mean for the rights of the people, the rights of workers, the rights of our unions, and what it would mean to the public postal service and the well-being of our society. History has taken us down this road before. APW family, it was called Nazi Germany. We continue to push and, where possible, cooperate with postal management, as we did in 2020 and 2022, to ensure that election mail moves through the system and arrives on time so every vote counts. The people deserve nothing less. And since our last convention, we have made significant gains in winning back subcontracted work, starting with a pilot program in Oklahoma City and now spread to 6 other sites. Driving work has been brought in-house and new APW represented jobs. In addition, management is in the process of ending the subcontracting of surface transport centers and terminal handling services. And there are plenty of APW jobs in that work. In the face of the network changes, we have successfully negotiated an important agreement that protects retail operations and jobs when management creates sorting and delivery centers. And after years of planning, and it was years, we are thrilled that the APW Leadership Institute is up and running with the first inaugural class graduating in May. If any of you are in the audience, stand up. Come on, graduates, where are you? There you go. Hats off to the 32 participants, the staff who planned and facilitated the program, and the many officers and friends who engaged in the teaching process. The Leadership Institute is a concentrated union education program, as we owe it to ourselves and future postal workers to make a serious investment in tomorrow's leaders of our great union. We are following our constitutional and convention mandates to organize all workers in the mailing and package industry as a vital part of building our power. We have won a series of organizing campaigns with HCR drivers and welcome these proud new members into our ranks. And if I can divert for one few seconds here, I believe in the guest section is one of our newest and proud APW members from Albuquerque Mail Service, who just joined the union a few months ago. They're in negotiations now. Jamie Capito, I don't know if you're here or not. Are you there? I can't see. Anyway, welcome, sister. We're proud of you. We know it's not easy, and all the co-workers that you stood firm and said, we want a voice at work, and we're going to win a contract that improves our lives as private sector postal workers. There's no bigger need, as we talk about organizing, but there's no bigger need and challenge than taking on the wealthy anti-union company called Amazon. Organizing Amazon must be a priority for the entire labor movement, as a non-union Amazon brings down the standards, the wages, and the benefits of all workers. And later in this convention, you will hear from these courageous workers in person. Through the determined efforts of local and state officers and shop stewards, we continue to aggressively carry out the hard and needed work of enforcing our hard-won contract. We encourage new and young workers to step up as future activists and leaders. Young member committees, are you here? We'll see you at some point. Congratulations, and we appreciate very much what you're doing. The Retirees Department continues to grow, now with 76 chapters, and we appreciate the good work of the APWU Auxiliary, consisting of family members and friends. Our Stand Up for Safe Jobs campaign prioritizes the importance of the safety issues, and you heard from Brother Renfro on some of the challenges we all face on this front. The union has advanced education surrounding injury compensation with a cadre of regional resource assistants. A corps of representatives have been trained by the clerkcraft to assist locals in the jurisdictional issues with the mail handlers. We constantly improve our communications. Our award-winning website is visited 45,000 times a week. Email and texting reaches 100,000 members. And while still publishing our informative and bi-monthly magazine and news service bulletins, we're reaching out in new ways through social media. And we recently introduced a podcast and audio versions of the Officers Magazine articles. We opened an APWU History Center, for history helps inspire and guide us for the battles ahead. We still continue to make the COVID test kit mailings a success for the people of this country. The national leadership is fully engaged to ensure that the transition this coming year to the Postal Service health benefit plans within FEEB proceeds as smoothly as possible, and that OPM guidelines accurately reflect the intent of the law. We participated in the UNI Global Union World Conference, understanding that international solidarity is vital, and we have much to learn from each other. Many activists joined picket lines in solidarity with striking auto workers and others. I'm unable in this State of the Union speech to name every name of the national officers connected to so much of this progress, but I am privileged to serve with a strong core of national leaders. I salute all the craft directors, assistant directors, regional coordinators, department heads, and the national business agents for their hard work and their dedication to the members and to the movement. Also, a shout out to our hardworking headquarters staff, whom we rely on to accomplish our tasks and move the union forward. A big shout out, a special shout out to Secretary Treasurer Elizabeth Liz Powell and her staff for the months of hard work to pull this convention together and make it a success. We are meeting on the 60th anniversary of the historic 1964 Civil Rights Act, a powerful reminder of how far we have come through courageous and determined struggle, but still how far we have to go to win true equality and justice. The APWU and the labor movement must be a force for good. As a social justice union, let us counter bigotry, race hatred, racism, immigrant bashing with unity, for division is the game of the boss. We must up the fight to defend and expand voting rights and compel the federal government to stop hiding behind the anti-democratic filibuster rules and pass voting rights legislation to reverse this new wave of voter suppression. We must stand for the right to protest, as our movement was founded on protest. And we must stand with all workers who are organizing, standing up, rallying, and striking for a better life. And regardless of our personal political beliefs, we must unite as small d democratic and fair-minded folks and reject wannabe dictators as part of defending our union and defending worker rights. APWU family, we recognize there are no magic wands. We will not win every battle. But looking back on the last few years, the APWU continues to meet the moment. Even when the seas are stormy and when the winds of change bring new challenges, and in these perilous political times, we link arms together with each other and in solidarity with labor and community allies. The sturdy ship APWU, built over generations of struggle, will continue to chart the course to safe harbor and a bright future for postal workers and the postal public. Let us be inspired by the words of Tommy Douglas, the beloved Canadian leader of their Labour Party and their public national health care system. And he said, "Courage, my friends, 'tis not too late to build a better world. Let us energize, organize, and mobilize for a better life for all postal workers. Let us energize and organize and mobilize for better service to the people and to defend our public national treasure from the fangs of Wall Street privatizers. Let us energize and organize and mobilize to defend and expand voting rights and to ensure that cherished democratic rights will not die on our watch. Let us energize, organize, and mobilize to win ever more workers' power, for our labor anthem, Solidarity Forever, proclaims. In our hands is placed a power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the might of armies magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to birth a new world from the ashes of the old, for the union makes us strong. Brothers, sisters, siblings, comrades, and family, let's have a great convention. Good to be with you in the trenches as the struggle continues. Solidarity forever.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get